Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to play Viva La Vida by Coldplay on the acoustic guitar. So obviously this song is not played on an acoustic guitar on the recording, but if you are like me and you just want to know how to play everything on the guitar, this video is for you. Especially if you're a cover song person, this is a great way to play this song and cover it when you may have maybe written it off because, oh, it's a bunch of strings. I don't have a orchestra with me at my cover gig. So anyway, we've simplified it and put it into the guitar format so that you can play it on acoustic guitar. All right, I'm going to shut up and show you how it's played, and then I'm going to walk you through and break it down so that you can learn how to play it yourself. So this is what the intro and the verse and most of the song is going to sound like. So it's very staccato. The strums are very punctuated and short, and then you're muting the chords right after you strum them. But let me show you what the chords are that I'm playing. So C add 9 is the first chord. And then we have a D sus. And then we have a G. And an E minor 7. Which sometimes if I'm in a hurry, if I'm feeling lazy, I may not even use my middle finger on this one, and I may just mute that D string with my pointer finger. You really can't tell much of a difference in the sound, and sometimes it helps just getting to the next chord to leave that one off. So with the strumming pattern, let me show you what you're gonna do with your right hand. And it's really the staccato part and the punctuated sound is a combination of a technique you're gonna do with your left hand and the way you strum with your right hand. So with your right hand, when you're strumming this C add 9 chord, you want to hit all the strings except for the low E string. But because we're going to be using a lot of energy to create this, blast of sound, it's really hard to aim when you're moving that fast. And so a lot of what we're doing is going to be muting the strings that we're not using. So on the C add 9, we don't want to hear the low E string. Doesn't sound terrible, but that's not the sound we're going for. So my thumb of my left hand is actually going to mute the low E string just by wrapping around and resting on it. I'm not pushing it down, but I'm just giving it enough connection to my thumb, enough contact that if I do hit that string, it's not really creating a note, and it just blends in with the percussive sound of the rest of the strum. So I'm actually hitting all 6 strings, but you're only hearing 5 that ring out. Now we do get that initial burst of sound by just strumming hard, but how do we make it staccato? Now that's where your left hand comes in. So as soon as you strum that chord, you're actually going to release the pressure on your left hand. So you're pushing down and kind of squeezing each of the strings to create the chord. And what you do to end the chord is you just release. But you don't lift your fingers off because you're about to strum it again in just a second. So you just kind of unsqueeze, if that's a word. And you'll notice, like, because we have an open string in the chord, it's not enough just to release, because that one would still ring out. I'm also flattening my index finger right after when I'm releasing, and it's gonna create contact on that G string enough to mute it. All right, so it may take a little bit of getting used to for this technique to work for you. So just sit there and repeat that C add 9 and strum with the release and the mute until you get a sound like that. After you've done that, it's 4 in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next chord is that D sus, and you're going to be going up on this chord for the first couple strums. So this one is a little bit trickier because you have 2 strings that you need to mute. So your thumb, if you have a big enough hand, can reach over and mute the low E and the A. If not, you may have to employ your middle finger to reach over for that A string. But it's not actually pushing down, it's just muting that string, so that when I do this vigorous strumming and I hit all the strings, I'm not causing other strings to ring out that I don't want to include in the chord. So it's the same idea though with this D sus, that after you strum, you release the squeeze that you have on, and then you also mute any strings that are left. Like the D string, for example, on this chord is open, so I'm actually using my middle finger to mute that string. And the pattern on this one, let me put it in context for you. So it's 3 ups, it's up, 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 down, down. And so what gives the song its feel and kind of the beat to the song is the juxtaposition of like all these down beats on the C add 9, and then we have all these up beats on the D sus. And then it kind of repeats that strumming pattern for the last 2 chords as well. Speaking of the next chords, after the D sus, we're gonna move to a G. And it just gets 4 downstrokes. And on this one, all you have to worry about, you don't need to mute anything during the strum, is just gonna be after the strum, flattening, and I'm using that index finger to mute the 2 strings that are open during a G chord, which are the D and the G strings. Okay, so you're gonna do 4 downstrokes on this. And then for the next chord, it's E minor 7, and you're gonna do the same strumming pattern that you did on the D sus just a minute ago. So up, 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 down, down. And on this one, you want all 6 strings to ring out on the strums, and then when you're muting in between, you're gonna have to use your thumb to get the low E string, and then either your pointer finger or your middle finger to mute that G string. The key is to take the time to make sure that you're getting this right. In between chords, you don't want to hear anything. You want it to be quiet as possible. Okay? And it may take a little bit of work and finagling to figure out which finger is going to mute which string, and coordinating all that takes a little bit of time. But once you can train your hand to do that, you won't have to think about it anymore. So that is the verse. It's just those 4 chords and those 2 strumming patterns that alternate. So the C has the same strumming pattern as the G, and the D sus has the same strumming pattern as the E minor 7. So we have down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, 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 down, down. And it just repeats those 4 chords over and over, and that's the bulk of the song. That's the verse. When it gets to the chorus, it's really the same chords, but the strumming opens up a little bit more, and I say the strumming opens up as if there is strumming in the song. When I cover the song, that's what I do to differentiate. Instead of having that staccato sound for the verse happening during the chorus, I actually will just, instead of muting and doing that whole technique, I'll play the same chords, but with this strumming. So it's the same chords, but I'm using a strumming pattern that has an accent on the 2 of each measure, 1, 2. And that actually follows along with the percussion on the recording. And so it sort of gives it a similar feel, even though I'm playing all this on just one instrument. I'm trying to suggest and remind people of, okay, what were the drums doing on the recording, and how can I bring a little bit of that energy into this version on the acoustic guitar. And I'm going to write down the strumming pattern in the tab that will be linked in the description in this video, so you can download that for free, and that will help you determine exactly what I'm doing with my right hand. It repeats that on the 4th time, I believe it is. The only thing that changes is we go from C add 9, D sus. Instead of going to a G, it's actually a B minor. And I actually will play it as a B minor 7, just to make it smooth and convenient and sort of fit into the hand shapes that I've been using. But it'll sound like this. So you can see from that B minor 7 to an E minor 7, I'm really just moving one finger, so that makes it really convenient instead of going all the way up here and doing a bar chord. And it keeps the continuity of the D and the G that I have going on here with my ring and pinky. So for the B minor 7, what I'm doing is this is coming off of a D sus, taking my index finger up to the 2nd fret of the A string for the root note for that B, and then I'm putting my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, which is my A note, which creates the 7th in the scale, which makes it a B minor 7th chord. So that makes it super easy to transition to the E minor 7, because all I have to do literally is just move my middle finger up 1 string and then include the low E string in the strumming. And there you have your E minor 7. So let me play through the chorus so that you can kind of see how and when to use that B minor 7. And I'll sing it too, so you kind of know where we are in terms of the context of the song. What are the words? Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing, be my mirror, my sword and shield, the missionaries in a foreign field. It's actually the 3rd time around. For some reason I can't explain, a B minor 7, no St. Peter won't call my name. So then on the 4th time around, we go back to using the G as the 3rd chord. And that's the chorus. And so anytime you come to the chorus, you can use that pattern, and then it goes right back to the... So that's the verse and the chorus, and the only other part of the song is the bridge. For the bridge, I use the same strumming pattern that I use on the verse, and it's just gonna rock back and forth between a C add 9 and an E minor 7, and it does that several times, and then it ends on a D sus. So let me show you how it goes. It goes C add 9 to E minor 7. So 3 times in a row from C add 9 to E minor 7 with the exact same strumming pattern that we used on the verse. And then at the end of those 3 times, we go to a D sus, and the strumming pattern changes to up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, which takes us into the vocal bridge part, which I believe is actually, you can use the chorus pattern to play during that section of the bridge as well. And then it goes back into the chorus for one last time, and that is the end of the song. So that's it. You know the whole thing now. So you can impress all your friends by pulling out a song that's actually played by a whole orchestra and keyboards and everything else, and pull it off just with an acoustic guitar, which is pretty cool to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions about how to play the song, or if you have any requests for what you want to learn next. I'd be glad to put a tutorial together for more Coldplay songs, or for whatever else that you're interested in learning. And make sure you subscribe, because we're putting out new content all the time. Until next time, Will Mason here with Mason Music. Rock on.